Hello and welcome to the award-winning Waterman Wellness, your pathway to whole person health, body, mind, and spirit. I'm your host, Kristen Ludicky. We have plenty of healthful information featuring local experts, including a Mount Dora heart patient explains how his surgeon's attention to faith played an important role in his recovery. An Altoona woman is looking forward to more time with her great-granddaughter now that her joint pain is in the past. And you'll find out about healthy foods that are more powerful together. You may have been told how important it is to call 911 should you experience heart attack symptoms. We begin with a story of a Umatilla man who credits the strong partnership between Lake EMS and AdventHealth Waterman after his ordeal.
I was at the First Presbyterian Church of Eustis and started feeling some chest pains, and then I broke out in a cold sweat, and I said, this is not normal. And so I said, well, maybe it'll just go away. And it didn't. And so after the service, I told my wife, so she said, well, I'm not driving you to the emergency room again because they lectured me last time, never do this. So someone in our church called 911, and within a couple of minutes the ambulance showed up. After they had done their initial examinations, they put me on a gurney and loaded me up in the transport, and within just 3-4 minutes we were at the emergency department at Waterman Hospital in Tiberias. And I also know that while I was being transported, that they were in communication with the emergency department, and so I knew that there was work being done prior to my arrival.
We have an incredible relationship with Lake EMS, and we make a commitment that the patients that come by ambulance are likely very sick patients, and they need the care the fastest.
Within about a short time, I wound up in a room where the emergency department physician said, based on your history and your symptoms, we think you ought to spend the night, and we'd like to, take a look at you.
Yancey had a stent from a previous heart attack in 2002. The AdventHealth Waterman cardiac specialist determined he needed a new one.
I heard them say, okay, it's flowing now, and I said, wow, I feel better already. It was remarkable that from Sunday morning to Tuesday by noontime, I think I was on my way back home.
One of the most important reasons for a community to have a top-notch emergency department is that you have no idea when that heart attack is going to hit. And if you have individuals who are specifically trained and skilled to take care of those items, not just sort of by the seat of their pants, but number one, that they use evidence-based medicine, that they follow guidelines that are nationally based, and they do it in a way that makes the person and the family feel good about it, I think that is priceless.
Yancey agrees, so much that he's a member of the AdventHealth Waterman Foundation Board and is leading a fundraising campaign to expand emergency services at the hospital.
One of the first questions that people ask when they move into North Lake County is, what are your schools like and what's the health care system like? And we have an outstanding hospital at Waterman.
Lake County residents have a good reason to feel good about that effort to expand emergency services at AdventHealth Waterman. The $74 million construction project is underway that will more than double the size of the emergency department while adding a 4-story patient tower. Patients and visitors to the emergency department can access it temporarily through the hospital's main entrance. Free valet parking is available 24 hours a day for emergency care at this entrance. The emergency department's main entrance will reopen next month. You'll find information about AdventHealth Waterman's emergency services, as well as the expansion project, by visiting the website on your screen. In our next story, a Mount Dora man explains how his medical team's focus on spiritual well-being played an important role in the treatment of a dangerous heart condition.
Well, I started finding myself fatigued for simple activities. For example, when I would go out golfing after 2 or 3 holes, I found myself tired, feeling like I was unable to complete my golf match, and something just didn't seem right.
Jeff Bassett's primary care physician ran some tests and recommended that he see a cardiologist at AdventHealth Waterman. Bassett chose cardiothoracic surgeon Tim Moore, not only because of his expertise, but because of his attention to spiritual details.
Dr. Moore was very thorough. He made me feel very much at ease with his knowledge. And I actually discovered that Dr. Moore wrote a book. So I ordered his book, I read it thoroughly, and I was so impressed.
I believe there's much more to the care of the patient than what we just do surgically. And there's much more that occurs with the patient in terms of their healing than just what goes on with their body. I do believe that there's a spiritual component to healing.
I was very much drawn to the mission statement of AdventHealth and extending the healing ministry of Christ. And I put that together with Dr. Moore's faith in what he does. When I went to see Dr. Moore for my first visit, and he asked me if it was okay to pray with me, I said, absolutely. I was in the hospital the entire time, and to see the staff truly exemplifying that mission and ministry and everything they did and said and do, it just made me feel really hopeful, and it made me feel confident that I was in a place of true care and compassion.
You can learn more about AdventHealth Waterman's cardiac team and the hospital's mission by visiting AdventHealthHeartWaterman.com. Turning 50 is certainly a lifetime milestone. For many, that birthday marks an important health reminder. Time for a colonoscopy. After his 50th birthday, Fruitland Park resident Mark Robert Schwartz met with AdventHealth Waterman surgeon Jason Smith to learn more about his scheduled colon screening.
So the American Colorectal Society has noticed that colon cancer kind of spikes around age 50, and specifically the precursor to colon cancer, which are colorectal polyps. Now, if we do a colonoscopy and we see a polyp and we take it out, that polyp is no longer a risk to turn into cancer. However, if that polyp stays in place, there is an increased risk for cancer.
The fact that there's been no family history, neither my mother nor my father, could I have kind of bought myself some time? Am I in a better position than maybe somebody who did have a family history?
50 years old is the recommended age for someone without a history. If you would have had a history of colon cancer in your family, the actual recommendation is 10 years before the earliest first-degree relative had colon cancer. We're looking for anything that looks suspicious. There can be abnormal changes in the superficial layer of the colon, for which we would take a biopsy. Any polyps we see, depending on the size and the character of the polyps. The most recent complications that were quoted was about 1 in 5 to 10,000 major complications. So it's a very low risk procedure. Most people go back to work the following day after a colonoscopy, and it really is something that's recovered from quite quickly.
To learn more about colorectal cancer prevention and to find a specialist to answer your questions, visit the website AdventHealthCancerWaterman.com. It's time to take a short break, but we'll have plenty more when Waterman Wellness continues. A Tavares orthopedic surgeon explains how his approach to joint replacement helps his patients recover quicker. Residents in the Golden Triangle area will soon benefit from exceptional and convenient healthcare options. And if healthy eating is important to you, find out how some foods are better together when we come back. check out Waterman Wellness magazine for even more health and wellness information. You can arrange for home delivery of the magazine by visiting watermanwellness.com. Plus, you'll find a listing of the specialists featured in this episode. Here are some community events you and your loved ones might want to check out. Don't go away.
It's time for the Creation Health Tip of the Month. Choosing your path in life and taking responsibility to get there can make your dreams a reality. Write a goal you want to attain personally, spiritually, or professionally today.
Welcome back to the award-winning Waterman Wellness, your pathway to whole person health, mind, body, and spirit. I'm Kristen Ludicky. When you suffer from joint pain, it can truly make you feel as if you can't do anything. As a patient in our next story explains, it felt as if she was at a standstill.
I mean, it was just too much pain. I used to go to the park and walk, and I like to go to the gym. I like to do things with my great-granddaughter. I couldn't do any of those anymore. It was just like a standstill.
Simmons went to see AdventHealth Waterman orthopedic surgeon Donald Perry, who had previously treated her husband.
He x-rayed it and said that I needed surgery, so I was in total agreement with that. It was bone on bone, and it was caused from arthritis.
Arthritis basically affects a large percentage of the population, and anytime you have destruction or degradation of a joint surface where two joints are supposed to be moving freely, and then if it affects that, then obviously it can limit your ability to function. The big thing with the hips that I do is the muscle-sparing anterior approach. With the anterior approach, there's a significantly decreased complications of dislocation and nerve damage, and it's muscle-sparing so the patients get up faster. I've had patients that we do hip replacements on that they go back in 2 weeks.
There's zero pain now, and before, I had a hard time getting up and down out of a chair. And walking was out of the question. I just to take care of my great-granddaughter. She's 7, and she requires a lot of attention. For a 75-year-old lady, a 7-year-old is quite a trip. But I enjoy every minute of it.
You can learn more about advanced procedures that put joint pain in the past by visiting AdventHealthOrthoWaterman.com. We turn to babies in our next story and what new parents can do to prepare for their little bundle of joy. AdventHealth Waterman obstetricians Mamie Rogers and Marilyn Main agree that moms-to-be need to focus on their health to ensure a healthy baby.
It's a good idea to come in and talk with an OB/GYN doctor so that we can tell you some of the things to avoid, some of the things to do. I encourage every young person who's thinking about having a baby to start taking prenatal vitamins and folic acid. And as I say, eat healthy and try to avoid as much toxins as you can, avoid smoking or being around smoke.
Aside from regular well visits to the obstetrician during pregnancy, the specialists encourage parents to take advantage of community resources.
At the first obstetric visit, I also refer new patients to childbirth classes where they can get more information about what to expect during the pregnancy, information about breastfeeding, things like child safety such as car seats, as well. The nurse who teaches that class is a labor and delivery nurse, so they get a lot of insight about what to expect during the labor and delivery process when they go to the Center for Women and Children.
It's always good to have your partner or your husband come to so they can understand some of the changes that you're going through. It makes it a little bit easier for everyone in the household.
AdventHealth Waterman offers a 4-session prenatal class for new parents. The curriculum is offered year-round, and the next class begins April 4th. Participation is free, but you must register. Visit the website on your screen for more information. Nutrition is an important part of whole person health, but did you know that certain foods, when they're paired together, can be powerful partners? Alyssa Hurwitzik is in the Conry CREATION Health Center kitchen with an AdventHealth Waterman expert who has food combos to try.
So we know that some foods taste delicious when they are paired together, but they can also be powerful nutritional partners. I'm here today with AdventHealth Waterman dietitian Peter Weiss. Hi, Peter.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, you're welcome. I understand you have some wonderful food combinations to share with us.
Yes, these are some great foods to eat together because some of the nutrients that are in each of them complement each other, as well as just being a nice healthy snack or alternative for unhealthy options.
Perfect. What do you have?
So we have carrots and hummus, we have eggs and cheese, and we have spinach and strawberries. If you're wanting to eat something like a chips and dip, but maybe you want to go for a healthier option, then having the carrots on their own aren't very filling, and having the hummus on its own isn't very tasty. But when you combine them together, you get the crunch from the carrots, you get the healthy fat and the protein from the hummus, and together they're very filling and very tasty.
And then how about the eggs and cheese? What would be a benefit of combining those?
So the cheese has calcium and the eggs have vitamin D, and you need vitamin D in order to absorb enough calcium. So if you don't normally get enough sun exposure, or maybe you don't normally eat foods that have vitamin D, then it's a great option to look for something like eggs or maybe salmon as a way to get some vitamin D. That way you can get increased calcium absorption.
So why is calcium so important?
So calcium is very important if you happen to be elderly, if you have osteoporosis. It's a great way to keep your bones strong and to prevent fractures and prevent other kind of health issues later on in life related to that.
And so over here, looks delicious. What do we have?
So we have spinach and strawberries. They complement each other very well. The vitamin C in the strawberries helps to absorb the iron that's in the spinach.
Okay. Are there any other ways I could get iron if I don't like spinach?
Yes, if you don't like spinach, you could use a cast iron skillet. That's a great way. By cooking anything in the cast iron skillet, some of the iron is absorbed into the food. Additionally, other dark green leafy vegetables do have a little bit of iron as well.
So why is iron so important for us to have?
So iron's important with hemoglobin production, which helps to carry oxygen throughout your body. And if you are iron deficiency anemic, then you have issues with that transportation of oxygen in your body. By combining the vitamin C with a vegetable source of iron, you increase your iron absorption and you really help to reduce the risk of anemia.
Well, I had no idea about these combinations and how helpful they could be. So thank you, Peter, for sharing with us today.
Thank you for having me, Alyssa.
AdventHealth Waterman offers a number of programs to help you learn about healthy eating. Visit the website for more information. Finally, North Lake County residents will soon have access to comprehensive health and wellness services. AdventHealth Waterman recently broke ground on a 22,000 square foot medical plaza that will serve the growing Mount Dora, Sorrento, and Mount Plymouth communities. The facility will house 8 primary care physicians and will offer extended hours and walk-in appointments.
It is our goal as AdventHealth. We are a consumer-focused clinical company, and we are here to make sure that we are providing exceptional care, high quality, that's fast and convenient.
The new plaza is scheduled for completion in September. We hope you've enjoyed this episode of Waterman Wellness, your pathway to whole person health, body, mind, and spirit. Be sure to watch for the next episode right here on Lake Sumter TV. To learn more about the experts featured in the program, please visit watermanwellness.com. Until next time, I'm Kristen Luedeke for the award-winning Waterman Wellness.